The number of homeless children has been growing 20% every year for the last 5 years. We literally have thousands of homeless children in the Charlotte area. When we talk about homelessness, we're talking about children who live in shelters, they live in pay-by-week motels, they live doubled up with other families, which means a whole family could be living in just one room of a house. And we have every year children who are living in cars and abandoned buildings and bridges. And this is in the second largest financial district in our country. Homelessness affects children in lots of ways. They're twice as likely to be hungry. They're 4 times more likely to be sick. They fall 2 or 3 grade levels behind their peers. And 84% of homeless children worry that something bad is going to happen to them or their family.
We're not saved by our good works, but dear friends, we are saved for good works. We are saved as the Church of Jesus Christ to be set free once we worship, to go into the world and do good works. That is clearly the biblical perspective. In the early church, from Acts 2 onward, the church grew by 40% every decade throughout the world. Do you want to know the major reason the church grew? Christians volunteered to serve the poor. Christians through the centuries played a major role in the abolishing of slavery, the enactment of child labor laws. The establishment of public schools came through the church. Hospitals formed by Christians. Harvard University, back in the 18th century, was formed in America for the purpose of being a seminary to send out evangelical pastors for the propagation of the gospel worldwide. But it will take a courageous person to leave the comfort of southeast Charlotte and enter some of the broken places in the city of Charlotte, but God has called us to do it. Forest Hill's been faithful in that way for 15 years, and until I have no more breath in my lungs, I'm going to call you to preach the gospel, but serve the poor. There are 2 wings on the same airplane, and we don't have the right to take one or the other off.
Jesus promises that He's going to prepare a place for us and then come back and take us to be where He is. That has both eternal and practical significance for homeless children who don't have a place to go at the end of the day, don't have a home to call their own, and for volunteers, this is all part of our journey to become more like Christ. We are all truly homeward bound.
A Child's Place works to erase all of those impacts of homelessness. For most kids in Charlotte, home is the most stable part of their day, but for the homeless children, school becomes the most stable part of their day. So it's a key place where we can see these kids. It's where they see the same teacher, it's where they sit in the same chair, and it's where they play with the same friends. So it takes their mind off the fact that they're not sure if they're going to get dinner tonight, or they're not sure where they're going to lay their head tonight. It's about relationships. We can't be with every child all of the time. So to have a church whose members would come in and be a mentor to a child may actually make the difference between whether that child gives up on themselves or gives up on school, or actually perseveres through the struggles that their circumstance has and actually succeed in school and of course then in life as well.
The mission and vision of the WISH program is simplistic: to work with working homeless families here in the city of Charlotte and help them move from their traumatic situation of living in the shelters, living in the Charlotte Emergency Housing, living on someone's couch, immediately rapidly rehouse them in a safe neighborhood where they can have the opportunity to not only survive but to strive. And the fourth leg of our organization is our HOPE teams, which we believe is the special sauce. It's a lasting relationship with a person that may be coming from the middle class, our church, faith community, joined and partnered in with our clients.
4 members from our life group made the decision to take the WISH training. We exited the training with more questions than when we entered. And it really just boiled down to the fear of the unknown. We went through filling out all the paperwork, And then she says, okay, I'm going to tell you about the family. I've got just a perfect family for you. And it's 5 kids. We were just really almost in a state of shock. I remember as we got closer and closer to gathering, as Stephanie Hand refers to it, where we got to meet the family for the first time. I remember driving into work that morning. Quite honestly, I was an emotional wreck. I just felt helpless. I did not know what to do. I just told God, we cannot do this by ourselves. So we get to meet our family for the first time. It's pretty exciting. And it really flowed very nicely. After we had dinner that night, one of the men in our life group came up with a brilliant idea for us all to go down to the other end of the park and shoot basketball. During one of the 4-on-4 games, I got a pass from one of the teenage boys. And just as I caught it, I momentarily glanced down at the ground. It was a silver cross that was lodged in a crack. It was almost like time froze. I just remember feeling this peace come over me. We're really thankful that we were connected with the Homeward Bound Ministry. There is no doubt that lives are being transformed, not only with the families, but also within our team.
After all, God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. He loved us so much. And I believe that God is calling us all to emulate that love into the world.